Hello everyone, this is me Tujo. Welcome to All About Trends. So today's video is solely based on a particular test. So you might be familiar with this kind of test that is known as Watson Glaser Test. However, this is kind of another version of Watson Glaser Test introduced by Bar Council Board of UK. It is really mandatory for the aspirant barristers those who want to study bar law in the UK. If you want to study bar law, you must have to pass this BCAT test. So the full form of this test is Bar Course Aptitude Test. So this is a kind of aptitude test. So I'll be sharing my experience. Before that, let me tell you, my exam is on 26th June of 2021. So I'm really nervous. I really don't have an idea.
Guys, guess what? I passed the BCAT test, so make sure you don't skip the video and watch till the end and utilize your experience on the Watson Glaser or any other aptitude test. So I wish you good luck. Say, break a leg.
Sitting for today's practice, did some research about the part. I can tell you about 2 or 3 maybe at this time. The inferences, deductions, assumptions, and I think arguments, and what's more. Yeah, let's look into it. I'm going to share my screen right now. So yeah, let's jump into it. So right now, as we're saying, that it's a welcome to Glaser Test free sample. So let's jump into it. The example will be okay. So the section 1 is inferences. Okay, let's start. You need to decide. Okay, so it says that you need to inference. Okay, so it should be you need to understand. Okay, let's go with the first one. 100 young adults in their 20s and 30s paid to participate in a recent speed dating event as a bar in a big city. Additive education and occupation were the most commonly discussed topics among the speed daters because young adults today view these topics as the most important for finding out a partner. So the question here is a majority of young adults had not previously discussed the topic of education and occupation with the previous potential partners. I think it probably falls because there might be possible that they have discussed. Oh my god, it's right. Right. Okay, I'm going to come on to the explanation later of this video. The second question: 2015 number of people together to purpose one life increase sales tax for speakers. Okay, so not just lowering sectors, but also lowering the state's income tax. Okay, several hundred computers protesters also come to the protest. Some violent confrontation ensued. Okay, the counter protesters do not want the state's income to be lowered. It says that the counter protesters do not want the state's income to be lowered. So talking about this question, in particular, it says 700 counter protesters also came to the protest. So that might be the one. Okay, so insufficient data, as we don't know. Okay, oh my god, that is probably true. So there is a mistake that I have done. Okay, I'm gonna come to the explanation later. So it says that there were 2 consecutive months during the past 6 months when Mrs. White properly picked up after her dog. It says that Mr. White, who lives in a village in the countryside, was brought before the village court for the 3rd time in the past 6 months due to not picking up after her dog. Okay, let me read it again. So it's really important to read it again. So, who lives in a village in the countryside was brought before the village court for the 3rd time in the past 6 months. Past 6 months. Okay, this is 2 consecutive months. So, not picking after her dog, she pleaded innocence, but there is quite guilty. Sufficient data? Yeah, insufficient because there is no information. Okay, go to the next question. Great. So now we are heading towards the assumptions. Assumptions. What about the assumptions? So it's about like where you have to make an assumption. So we are heading towards the second portion. Okay. So it's only a matter of time until the development of supercomputers will be completed. Now I'm going to the questions. With the completion of the development of supercomputing will be followed by shortage of people who know how to make use of this computing power. That it says that the supercomputers are gonna replace. But the thing is, the assumption has not been made according to me, because if we see the questions, it didn't make. Let me see because. Yes, that's right. Because the assumption has been made, because it's not it's not written. I mean, it's not linked here. So it isn't assumed. Okay, so the next question is the extent of attendance in professional media forums is not negligible. Okay, the extent of it's not negligible. About 30 people. Okay. Making professional ended this year media innovations for program additions indicates that social media engagement is a substantial feature of brand marketing plans. I think it would be assumption might. Yeah, that's right. Great. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the next one. It says that if a proctor claims to recognize both parties involved in cheating, then the proctor's testimony should be included. Ethics committee members say that this person was a proctor that they said during which the two students were caught allegedly cheating. Yet she claims to recognize a student who was giving the answers, but not the student who was getting the answer. Therefore, the proctor's testimony should be excluded. If a proctor claims to recognize both parties involved in cheating, then the proctor's testimony should be included. Okay, this is why it's a very big confusing this task. Okay, so it says the proctor claims to recognize. Okay, so then I think it's not made. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, great. Okay, so now we'll be moving towards the third part, which is deduction. I mean, whether we did follow the conclusion. I mean, we're going to see whether the conclusion made or not made. Real sets that are located in central areas are not apartments. Okay. I think we need to do quick calculations. So, real estate set. So let's go with. I don't know. I don't have a pen and paper at this moment. Okay, considering real estate. And sets are located in central areas, that is B. Sorry, that on apartments. So it's A. It's okay. So all real estates are either very large or located in centers, but not all one apartments without air conditioning. All air conditioning. It says it. Okay. So that means all the air conditions assets are very, very large. Very large. Okay, that's fine. So what it would be? It says where's the located are not apartment. I think it's conclusion false. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it's closest to the question. I mean, we found the signature here. Okay, next one. Bonds and stocks are both securities which differ in that stockholders both and owners share the company. Okay, stockholders both share the company, so they're the owner. But the bondholders lend money, and they're like investors. Okay, lend money to company holders. And the difference is that bonds have a defined time after which the bond is redeemed by the owners. Okay, so owners pays back the money to the bondholders. Whereas stocks might be outstanding indefinitely. Yeah, stocks can be outstanding. Yeah, it will be there already. It can't be taken easily, maybe. So I invested money in C stocks. I didn't lend money to company C. I didn't lend money. It says I invested money. So that means I think conclusion does not follow it, because if you see the question here, it says the commentator already said that he invested money. So the conclusion. Oh, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. All plastic bags make noise, nevertheless, not all plastic bags are reusable. Okay, so it says all plastic bags make noise, and nevertheless, all plastic bags are reusable. Okay, it means all plastic bags make noise, but not all plastic bags are reusable. I mean, there's some plastic bags you can't use. Okay, so the question says some noisy plastic bags are reusable. Now you have to link with the plastic bag with a noisy term. Like a noisy metaphor. Okay, so reusable. Okay, so if you consider that, oh my god, I missed that. Fudge. Okay, so moving to the next one is inserting. Okay, I forgot. This is another. Oh my god, you know this is the tension that workers who had not used bribes and money more than who did not use them. Okay. Was to use bribes and more money than to those. Okay, let's go to the question. Among workers who hired bribe funds to get this business, Oh, I'm kind of not understanding because time is running out. Okay, no one has ever proven that babies were slow to gain weight in the first few months of their life. Generally don't catch up to their peers by age 13. Babies who are slow to get weight usually catch up with their, I think it doesn't follow. Yeah, it is reason because it didn't say nothing like that. Okay, my workplace is in the city. When I go to the morning, I usually leave my house at 7 a.m. and take my bus into the city. On rare occasions, however, I stay overnight at my aunt's house and take the background to walk. Okay, so you say that my workplace is in the city, so what if, okay. Even though there is a city, my workplace is in the city, okay. He goes to work. It can be, the situation can be that he might be staying in the city just to catch up his work. Maybe his workplace might be in some remote areas, in coastal areas. I think the conclusion does not follow. Let's see. Yes, I'm right. Okay, that's great. So now we go to section 5, argument section. This is, I have to say whether an argument is a strong or is a weak. I'm sorry, I'm kind of sweating at this moment because I feel like, okay, I don't know what happens. Okay, let's start. Okay. So should the U.S. government welfare program exchange the current system of food stamps, which act like cash? Okay, so whether the U.S. government should do some system where people don't have to pay cash, but kind of food stamp will gonna suffice those. What for the schemes using food stamps are well known can therefore be prevented, but undoubtedly used. Definitely prevent strong argument. Yeah, this is because it's strong argument. I think I think you were saying the screen, guys. Okay, so the next question is: should employees who have over 5 years of experience in the company be bound by the logic of employers and advance notice of 60 days upon resignation? No, there are level laws such as this one protect employees, discourage employees making them less efficient. I think it's strong argument because if you impose such strong law, they might not be strong enough to do it. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the next question is: should the government close aging and pollution water station beneath the residents' small energy imports? Close aging pollution water stations. Okay, so no, importing is highly expensive. The worldwide financial crisis has had a major impact on government's ability to pay for such expensive. Even though your common sense says that you better resort to import rather than polluting your own country and polluting power stations. I think if I don't use because in deduction you can use your common knowledge, so it should be strong argument because it's it's the better way. It's the better decision. Oh yeah, that's right. It's a better decision for the government. So go to the let me see how much it got. Oh my god. I was almost what's the passing score? Actually question 12 and I got it right 12 incorrect 2. I think guys see that I'm done with my ultimate this is not the conclusive task. In the real examination, if you're appearing for the BCAT task, you would have to I think you have to appear for 80 questions. You will given time around 1 hour, 60 minutes, so very rush. As I told you, I already missed one question because I was thinking a lot. So that's why you need to do a lot of practice to get adapt with the exam environment. You can also see for the exam currently from the home, from the test center. So, but I will not be giving an exam from the center. I'm sorry, from my home. I'll be giving from the exam center. So as we are done with the practice task of Watson Glaser, even though it's not conclusively BCAT task, but these are the same format that BCAT follows because it's another version of Glaser task. So let's look into the explanations. I think you can see the screen again. So this is the first question that we have dealt at the very first time. So the reason is that why it is probably false. Is that if, as the passage says, education and occupation are an important consideration to many young adults in this era when choosing a partner, it seems very unlikely that this event would be the first time they would discuss these issues. Odds are they have discussed in the past and previous potential partners as well. Exactly. So that means if you see that, okay, it says that, the question says that majority of young adults had not previously discussed the topics of education and occupation with their previous potential partners. However, if you look into the facts, it's very unusual being young adults that hadn't discussed about the education occupation with their potential partner. It might be possible for that they have talked about the previous but has not been mentioned here. So that's where it can be false, because it can be possible. So what's probably false, because it might not be the case that it's more likely they have discussed previously, but we can't say conclusively what they have done it or not. That's why it's probably false rather than false. Okay, so oh sorry, I'm looking for my mouse. I'm a bit sweating. The reason is that if I switch on my fan, I would be maybe my sound will not be clear. Okay, so the next question, actually, which I didn't do, my answer was not right, which is wrong. It says that probably true, because if you see the explanation, this inference is probably true, because the counter protesters were protesting those who want the state sales tax lower. Thus, it can reasonably assume that they also don't want the income tax lower. Okay, so like they're counter attacking about the protest, what this person is doing and what the other person is doing. So it might also be possible that counter protesters would also agree with this and only protesting because they're only secretly value of lowering the sales tax. Oh, because they might be possible because those who think that will not be. Okay, so that is the reason they say it's probably true. Okay, I mean it can be possible. Maybe they don't have any problem with decreasing the income tax. However, they could be worried about the state sales tax. Maybe they're really worried about the revenue. Okay. So next question is about of our inference part. Is insufficient data. It's very simple as that, because if you see the explanation, the inference cannot be determined by the tax, because information is provided about when the previous violations of the law occurred. Yeah, exactly. The reason is that because there is information where the previous violation actually occurred, as the question explicitly says that there is 2 consecutive months, but if you look into the explanations or if you look into the facts, there is no such thing is mentioned. So definitely there is no reason to say it's true or false. And also it says that in addition, the fact that the Miss Watt was only brought before the court 3 times does not mean these were all the only instances where she failed to pick up after her dogs. So it is possible that she simply did not get caught. Exactly. So looking to the question again, it says that he had been doing these things for a couple of months, 2 consecutive months within the 6 months. So it says that okay, every time she got caught, but that not be the case. That could not be the case, but we don't know anything. So definitely it's insufficient that we don't know anything about it. So the last question probably is that we forecast the reason that assumption was not made if we look into the explanation. The forecast does not relate to more than a hypothetical scenario. The completion of supercomputer development, it is neither certain that such a scenario will occur, not that it is only a matter of time until it will. For example, we forecast that an alien invasion will force the nations of these to work together. Doesn't assume an alien invasion is bound to happen at some point.
If we're saying that this one, his conclusion doesn't follow, so the only actual piece of information that we have in the passage is that nobody really knows what happens to the babies, what to or slow to get weight in comparison to his. So you cannot say exclusively that the babies who are actually going to slowly gain the weight, catch up with the 13 years old, because it didn't say anything like that. Because if we read this completely, do not match. I mean, the conclusion should not be this one. The questions. That's why it conclusion does not follow. The next question: when I go to the walk in the morning, I usually leave my house at 7. Take the bus in the city or occasions. However, stay overnight. Okay, stay overnight at my aunt's house. So the question: the workplace in the city. It says that I will go to the walk in the morning. I leave my house at 7 and take the bus into the city. But it didn't say anything. The my workplace is in the city. Okay, did you say? It says, look, stay overnight at my aunt's house and take the underground to work. It's again, it didn't say is in the city or something, because I don't know where his aunt is. It didn't say anything. It says that he take the bus to the city, but he didn't say that when I go to the work, I usually leave my house and take the bus into the city. But he didn't say that his workplace in the city. So that's why the question didn't follow. So let's us read this. Let's read this. Already stated the narrator take the bus in the city. When it goes to the work, we can introduce exactly beyond a reasonable doubt. So that makes his workplace is actually in the city. The city just be stopped. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. Like it can be possible that he actually stopped there for a while, kind of in a bus stop, and then he again left for his workplace and maybe took a kind of stay. Maybe you take out a bus. We don't know. So talking about this one, I think it's one of the easiest part in the Watson Glaser Test or the BCAT test. Should the U.S. government welfare program exchange the current system of yeah, because the reason that I said it's a strong argument. Okay, I think the reason that I gave it because the argument is strong because if you enable the people to use food stamps rather than monetary cash, people are gonna print those and gonna bring those the to the sellers, and there will be a really high risk of fabricating those stamps. So that's why I think it's a strong argument not to do this and not to carry out these things again. So it says that, okay, let us see the explanations. The document is both important related to the issue in front. Schemes related to food stamps are currently being successfully implemented. It doesn't promote the general welfare of the people to change the system to work with one's dangers of fraud. Okay, so that means it do not promote the general welfare exactly. It do not promote the general welfare. I mean, there will be fraudulent crime. Okay, let's deal with that. What should employees who have? Okay, so it says that actually the question was that who has already worked for more than 5 years in that company? Should there be a law that can insist the employees to tell their employers that, okay, I want to leave this job, but you have to tell it within 60 days. Do you think it's a really legit? Do you think it's irrational? The question says, the answer says that, look, the argument says that no, the level law suggests this one protect employer discourage employees, making them less efficient in the workplace. So if you tell employees to give a notice, they become so frustrated because it didn't give away the independence to the employees to work efficiently. So that's why I think this is a strong argument. It's really unfair. So let's. I think it should be like that. Okay. Okay. Let's. Such laws would. Let's actually, yeah, we are dealing with explanation right now. Such laws would only render employees less motivated and productive. Therefore, the requirement is strong. Yeah, that's right. I think we are on the last question. Should the government close aging political power station even if the results is more energy reports? Now, importing is highly expensive. The world facing financial crisis. The financial crisis has had a major impact on the government to pay for such schemes. The question says that the government should gonna close and should government close the power stations because or that they should think about the go green thing, or they import the energy they were gonna import or some other renewable resources. So there is a thing. The thing that is a strong argument. The government should not do so. The government should not do importing, because whenever you import, you're actually giving your money to another country. That means your GDP or your growth rate is kind of decreasing. So that's why uh, the government should not do, because it will make them burdening. It will kind of impose an onus upon them to pay back later. So that's why that was my argument. Let's see. That was my position. Let's see what it says. But the argument in the previous question, the argument addresses one of the main issues present in the statement. Importing energy. More specifically, it addresses the reduced financial ability of the government to execute energy imports due to the world crisis. So, see, due to the world crisis, the government should not do so, should not do imports because of the because of the financial crisis. If it offers a reliable reason as to why this program is not desirable to close local power plants. The local power plant is already meeting the demand. So what you need to import the outer energy to, to to mitigate the solution.
That's all. That's what the pitch of BCAT is. To understand the nature of the exam, so feel free to do it and try not to stick with one. Try to do it more than one practice materials. And I will not really encourage you or insist you to buy some practice because I have already shown the free materials. There are a lot of free materials available. Try to understand the nature of the questions, the parts of the questions, when you have to use your comments and when you don't have. When you don't have to. And if you have any questions, just don't forget to tell me in comments. I hope to reply you all. It will be really a great gesture from my side to help you accordingly. I've concluded my part, and we would like to see you in other videos.